What's going on, everybody? Boa noite, gentis. This is your man Larry, the American Brazilian, saying I hope you guys are enjoying your night tonight. Um, I'm not going to really delay and wait till people get on. If you are able to catch this a little bit later, then great. If not, you'll get it another time. Oh, check out in Jersey, Sao Paulo Football Club. So anyway. Um, Let me put this thing. So tonight, what I want to talk about is, and I'm sure if you guys look at the title, you'll see it. I want to talk about what I feel will be the result of people going their own way. Hold on for a second. Let me make sure that I got this volume turned up. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what. Let me just put these on so that I can, okay, I don't want to connect them to my phone. I'll connect them to my, okay. So, um, let me see. Okay, good. So I hope you guys can hear me. Anyway, I'm going to try to be like very, very brief. Um, so I was listening to a podcast today. I had a little time, and it was a previous podcast, and it was with O'Shea Duke Jackson. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson, and he interviewed Aaron Ferris of the Black Man Travels channel, and he asked him a few questions. And one of those questions had, I mean, all of it was in regards to, excuse me, brothers who travel and what they find in the places that they travel, be it Thailand, Brazil, Colombia, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, just different places. And basically, what are they coming back with? Like the mindset, what are they coming back with as far as their findings? And it made me think. It made me think. I thought about that. And then I thought about something that Samuels would always say, and that is winter is coming. Well, uh, I don't know if anybody's realized, but winter is here. Okay, in regards to the whole dating, like winter is actually here. I hadn't said anything about this, but and I'm sure it's probably more to the video than just the clip that I saw, and I'm sure as many as you guys have seen as well. And that was the mixer. I think it was somewhere in Texas where a whole bunch of sisters showed up and only a few men showed up. And now, from what I understand, that there were in the beginning there were some men who showed up, but the women didn't necessarily. I don't know if they found them attractive, found them that interesting or whatever, but they probably for whatever reason they stayed a little bit and then they left. And listen, it's no shade to the sisters if they didn't find them attractive, if they didn't find them, if in fact that happened. What's going on, brother? If they didn't find them attractive, if they didn't find them interesting, then hey, I understand that. You can't make anybody want to be with you or like you. If they're not feeling you, then you go where you're celebrated, not tolerated, right? We understand that. But anyway, I thought about something, and that was this: why are black men leaving America for other dating options? Now, we know the obvious. A lot of people say, well, black men, we're treated, the women don't, they don't respect us, and, they treat us like crap, and they have, high demands, but then they have low impact. They want a lot, but then they give very little. We understand those talking points, and and a lot of that is true. Not for everybody, but a lot of people have found that. What's going on, Sam? A lot of Sam, we still got to get those tickets. All right. A lot of people have found that out through their dating experience, right? So they decided, you know what? I'm going to try something different. But here's another reason why I think that a lot of brothers are leaving this country, not only to date, but to also like just like relocate on the whole. And that's it. So I've been to a few different places. I've been to Canada a few times, Germany, Africa, Mexico, of course, Brazil. That's the name of my channel. Uh, a few other places. Um, London, Uh, and what I have found is this: a lot of the issues that we as black men face here in this country, um, we don't necessarily deal with when we travel abroad. I'm gonna say that again. Well, I'm gonna just break it down. The police don't really bother us when we go to different places, right? Women, they don't necessarily look at us as a threat. They don't necessarily clutch their purses all the time when we go places. In fact, it's just the opposite. They think we're friendly, they think we're funny, they think that we're protectors, and they think we're just overall nice people. And we're intriguing, which, some people feel like when they look at us from a standpoint of intrigue, it might always be something sexual. It just depends on who's looking. I don't think it's always that way, but I'm not a woman, so I don't know. But I will say this: we don't have a bad rap. Well, we might have a bad reputation, but that bad reputation is not a reputation that is indigenous to those countries. It is a bad reputation based on the press and how we are portrayed by our own country to all other countries. And I'm not American hating. I'm not saying it. I'm just making a point. When I went to Africa and I asked, I feel like there's just an overall higher baseline of respect. Exactly, exactly. And I'm gonna touch on that. So thanks, Sam. So when I went to Africa and I asked the guys what they thought about Black Americans, they said, "Well, we think you guys are loose. We think you guys are morally loose. We think you guys are, you spend a lot of money. And we think, the men are kind of violent and I guess can be thieves." And so I asked them, I said, well, how did you, how did you come to that conclusion? I mean, have you ever been to America? I mean, how did you come? And he said, we got it. We get this overall perception based on a television show that's popular in the US that has now become popular where we are. And the people basically just kind of eat it up. And it's our point of reference of how we see Black people. And so I said, well, what's the name of the show? He said, Cops. He said, Cops. I was in Abuja, Nigeria in 2012. My buddy told me that basically they get their perception of Black men based on Cops, the American TV show. True story. And of course, as they meet people, they understand that that is just not true. That like is not true in any way. That is a small majority of people who have been captured in, for many, their worst moment possible, and it should no way form the perception of brothers on a whole. But in some countries it does. And so when we leave America and we go other places, we get the treatment of respect. We get gratitude. People are just, they're glad that we're there. And it's weird, but they're glad that we're there. And they treat us with kindness. And again, they want to know a lot about us. And it's kind of funny too, because even when we're not fluent, like in a specific language, and we attempt to learn that language, people will literally hang around and they'll interact with us because I think that they, in some regards, and I don't know if I'm true in saying this, in some regards, I think people kind of feel sorry for us. I literally, when I was in Brazil the last time, I heard somebody said, "Man, it's sad that you guys are treated that way in your country, and a lot of you people, a lot of you guys just stay." And when you hear stuff like that, it kind of makes you think. It just, you kind of, and you find yourself kind of justifying to say, well, and everybody doesn't treat us that way, which is true. Everybody doesn't treat us that way. But by and large, when they see the news, they see what we see. The police, not all, but some, harassing people, murdering unarmed Black people. They understand, or they know a little bit about, even our past, the subjugation, the Jim Crow, the redlining, all of that stuff. And their thing is, well, why are you guys still there? Now, in some of those countries, it's not necessarily racism, it's classism, which is different, but they have some issues that some of their people might feel some type of way about. But by and large, they don't necessarily have the issues that we have that are like literally right out in front of your face, that's for the world to see in most cases. So we don't just leave for dating, we leave for overall better living experience. That's one thing. What are we discovering when we travel? A lot of people think, and I'm going to always come back to the women, because I think a lot of people think that most brothers, when we leave, we just are dead set on meeting women. Women are just a byproduct of what we discover when we go to these places. A lot of brothers are very, they are intrigued by the culture. They're intrigued by the language. They're intrigued by the food. They want to know how the people sustain themselves. They even want to know, hey, is there a place for me if I decide to become a permanent resident of this particular said country? Of course, you find a place that just kind of speaks to you. You want to figure out how you can become either a temporary or a permanent resident, or get your citizenship. In most cases, there are a few brothers that I know of. A few I've spoken to back and forth online. A couple that I know personally. One I know personally. When I went to Brazil the first time, I met this brother Alan Harper. I'm still cool with him today. Um, and so he's a permanent resident of Brazil. There's another brother who I don't know. I know of him. His name is Steven Story. He is a business owner, and he's in Salvador Bahia in Brazil. He basically helps brothers and sisters. They come, but mostly brothers, to well, I just say people. He helps people acquire their insurance license so that they can work abroad. He literally is over there selling insurance, and making the American dollar while living in Brazil. And from what it appears, he does quite well. Another brother, Derek Banks, he has an online business where he does good. He sustains himself. He lives in Brazil. I believe he's a resident of the country. I want to say Philly McFly. I'm not sure. And I know before he passed, Charles Tyler, he had made plans of actually becoming a resident of the country of Brazil. And a lot of these guys, and see, here's the thing. Those are just people that I've mentioned. Do you know how many people there are that are saying, you know what, I want to go? And I'm not just talking about Brazil. I'm talking about different countries in the world, and saying, I want to go and find something uh, different. And out of all the things that I've mentioned, this is the number one thing that a lot of people talk about. It's not really the women. I mean, we talk about the women, but it's not really the women. It's not really the food. It's the quality of life. That is like one of the apex things that when brothers go to these other countries, they find a better quality of life. The hustle and bustle, although it might exist, it's a different type of hustle and bustle. The family, um, the family unit is embraced more there. So it's not so much, you know, gimme. We got to make. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to go buy this. We got to buy this. We buy that. Yeah, you're gonna have people that want nice things. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think for them, everything centers around family, and I think that's something that has it's been lost. And I'm not saying it's been lost here in this case. It has. It's been lost. Everything here centers around money, because that's where we are. But there they discover a better quality of life, unlike something that they've never experienced before, which is why it's so difficult to to not think about trying to set up shop permanently once you go over there. Um, the last thing I want to talk about is like what will be the results of that. And this is like I told you, I'm not going to be long. What will be the overall results based on my opinion as a result of SYSBM here in this country? You know, um, let me see what you're saying, Sam. Or something I'd be interested in a lot. Yeah, yeah. And see, that's the thing, Sam. A lot of people Like, so there are so many ways that you can make money online. You can have that American dollar, which is strong, and use it in countries like Brazil and Costa Rica and Dominican Republic and Colombia and Thailand and different parts of the world, and live like a excuse me, live like a king, right? And that's what a lot of people are doing, and they're figuring out. And you know what? And you know, a lot of people that I've been listening to, they say, I never realized that $2,000 or $3,000 can go so far, and that I can have such a dynamic and awesome life on what I considered at one point in time such a very, very minuscule amount of money. And I'm not saying that that's like nothing. That's not my point. My point is, if you're accustomed to making so much more here in this country, if you take a fraction of what you make in this country, and if you can figure out how you can still make that while living somewhere else, another country, working remotely, you can do very well. But anyway, what do I think the results? Here's what I think. You know, Kevin Samuels, shout out the brother Kevin Samuels, RIP. He would always say winter is coming, and I would say winter is here. Winter is here. That little clip that many of you guys saw that I mentioned earlier about the sisters who were in this mixer, and it was just mostly them. That happens a lot. That happens a lot. That was just somebody who decided they wanted to film it, but that happens a lot. What did he mean by winter's coming? For many women who would tout those talking points, men ain't crap, I'm strong, independent, I'm a boss bee, I don't need a man, I pay my own bills, I have my own house. Well, if you're independent, if you don't have a husband, you're supposed to do that. So that's not really something that you get a pat on your back. That's no mark of excellency. You are supposed to pay your own bills. You're supposed to have your own. You're supposed to be self-sustaining. So listen, you want a man to be self-sustaining, you're supposed to be self-sustaining if you're alone. So you don't get any brownie points for that. Yeah, Sam, 2K a month, you would be in any of those countries that I mentioned, 2K, you be great. I'm gonna say this real quick, like this in regards to Sam said. RIP brother Yusef Watif. He was a brother who also, who I did a show with. He relocated to Sao Paulo, and he lived in like one of the most expensive. He lived in the most expensive area, which was Paulista. And I think he said he was paying like 400 and something dollars a month, had a nice apartment. And they asked him, what is it that you need to live a good life in Brazil? He said about 2K, 1,500, 2K. He said, because if you're going to pay $400 or $500, between 4 to 7 or whatever, for a nice place. If you're not going to cook, you're going to, eat out, which eating out in Brazil is not a bad thing because a lot of stuff there is kind of healthy. And entertainment, you're going to have to put aside money for entertainment. But outside of that, you can literally save money. And so 2000 is the number that everybody has kind of like been putting out there. But anyway, I just wanted to say, Sam, I just kind of wanted to verify what you're saying is like accurate. That is an accurate number, 2000. Well, anyway, I think that the Boss B sisters that are experiencing the chill of winter, what do I mean by that? That are alone. I think that they tout themselves on being right. Some people, they don't care about getting help. They just want to be right. They don't want to feel like they have to acquiesce or capitulate or give in, or they feel like, admitting that they may not necessarily have all the facts and that they could be wrong is a bad thing. It's only bad if you don't seek to get help. And I think for many of them, they just feel like, you know what? Forget the help. I'm right. Yeah, I don't need no man. Yeah, I'm strong, independent. Yeah, I got my own things going on. And I know what I bring to the table. But the thing about it is, you're at the table alone. And it's been that way for quite some time. And it's going to be that way seemingly for the foreseeable future, because a lot of guys statistically are increasing their passport, increasing the passport amongst black men. There, a lot of brothers are beginning to get their passport. I think I checked today, and I think it was like something like 17%. Um, and the number of American dollars spent by black people, I want to say it is $109.4 billion as of 2019 or 20, and that number is going to increase because yeah, things are tough right now and a lot with a lot of people, but if you know that you can take a few $1,000s and go overseas and live a good life or have a great vacation and enjoy a different culture and not necessarily have to exercise your senses so much of, oh man, I got to, like the paranoia that some of many may be experiencing. I think they consider it PTSD here. A lot of people are doing that, and then they're taking their money with them, and all of this stuff can be tracked, and it is being tracked. Um, but yeah, I think that at some point, and maybe I'm being overly optimistic. I could be wrong. Lawrence, this might be more in your wheelhouse if you're still here. Um, I think that a lot of these sisters are going to wake up and by the time they decide, you know what, we're alone and we're tired of being right, we want companionship and we're willing to do whatever it takes to get that companionship. I don't I don't think, they say, where are all the good men gone? That question is being answered every day. The good men are going overseas. A lot of them. They are leaving here. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of good brothers here that stay. Some brothers they just built to deal with, the options that are here. Not saying that there aren't any. It's just that there's more outside. But by and large, a lot of brothers, a lot of the 51% of black men who are single and unmarried, well, single and unmarried, single and who are unmarried without children, the 63% who are in the, I think it's middle to upper middle class, they're taking their resources and they're going elsewhere. So now the question is going to be not where are they? How can we get them back? And that might be a difficult thing to do because if you've ever gone overseas, um, thank you, Lawrence. Yeah, I figured you would know that. Um, if you've ever gone overseas for any period of time, I think for me, and listen, and I've said this and I'll say it, people laugh at me, I don't care. I'm one of the brothers that cried on my way back to America the first time I went to Brazil. It didn't happen when I went to Africa. It didn't happen when I went to London. Didn't happen when I went to Germany, Canada, none of that. Excuse me, Mexico, none of that. But when I left Brazil, I cried, like literally, like real tears. I cried because for me, the months, and I did 6 months of research on Brazil before I even stepped foot on Brazilian soil. And everything that I saw exceeded my expectations and far surpassed what I had known to be true based on my research. So, um, oh yeah. So Sam, I know you enjoyed yourself. So now it's going to be like when you go to these countries, Colombia, the Dominican Republic. See, some people feel about the way I feel about Brazil, some people feel that way about Colombia or Costa Rica or the Dominican Republic or Thailand or these other places. Yeah, Lawrence, if you go, you it's a different animal. It changes you, man. Like it literally causes you to see. I think it's a scripture. You see men as trees. When you come back, you see things as it really is. And so when I came back, man, it was really difficult. It was really difficult, and it seems as though every travel brother that I look at that go ventures out to these different places, I look in the comments, and because to me, I think sometimes the comments will really tell the story. And these brothers are saying, Man, I'll never be the same again. I did not know people like that existed. I did not know that I could get treatment as good as I received outside of what I knew all my life. And they are experiencing this every single day. Do you know how many thousands of people that are coming into the knowledge of the red pill and SYSBM? Even with Kevin Samuels, when you listen to Kevin Samuels' content, sometimes I often wonder, he's gonna lead brothers to SYSBM because by his own account, and of course I wouldn't dare, put words in his content or anything like that. This is just my perception. The options were not very good. Most of the women that he spoke with, not all but many, had such a skewed, backwards way of seeing things. Oh, Islam is the only thing that can save the Cortez, I'm glad you said that because that's true. And even when, his untimely passing, even the woman that he was with, I don't know too many American sisters with that name. And I think I can recall a brother of mine telling me, "Hey, man, I was listening to Kevin Samuels last night, and he had made mention about, you know, Marisol and Mylene and Becky and different people." He would use those names. Um, and he wasn't being stereotypical or anything. He wasn't trying to, he was just kind of making a point. Um, these are these are the women that your men are leaving you for. While you're fighting hard to be right, these are these are the men that you're wanting are being taken up, having families, being treated well by these women. And that's what's happening overseas. Man, I don't know, sometimes I feel like a chatty Cathy doll. I'm pulling my own string because I talk about Brazil so much. Not just here, I talk about it everywhere I go. Um, I think that as people find out more about these countries that we love so much, I'm not sure I'm not sure if the productive brothers will. I think more people are going to try to figure out ways to become permanent residents, even if it means having dual citizenship. Okay, I'll live over here for a portion of the year, I'll live over there for a portion of the year. And listen, I'm not just the American Brazilian always to be in America. And I'll leave it just like that. If you heard me, you heard me. Me too, with my family. Thinking, hey, how can we do this? How can we do this? My wife, I talk about it a lot. I'm constantly keeping my eyes open because with the profession that I have, I can literally go anywhere in the world and work. But when you get used to a certain thing, you kind of want to see, okay, I don't want to miss a beat. And I think a lot of brothers kind of, I wouldn't say struggle, but they wrestle with that because they want to figure out, how can I not diminish my quality of life? But what's interesting is if you make that transition, we're more concerned as Americans about the money. And that's just keeping it a buck. We are. But the quality of life, you'll find that you gained where you may have lost in one. And I wouldn't say lost, where you may have to kind of build back up on one end. You've gained because if you're moving, if you're considering relocating for quality of life, all of those countries that I've mentioned, I think you'll do very well. I don't think you'll miss a beat. I know you won't miss a beat. The other stuff, you kind of have to figure that out. And again, there's a lot of whole online stuff, working remotely. It can be done. But yeah, I think the dating pool is going to shrink um, dramatically where men are concerned. I do, and I don't think it's going to be as easy for women to curve guys, for guys who will still feel like, you know what, I want to use this place as an option. I'm gonna read what Cortez says. Even though the kids will look like Alonzo Ball, at least they'll be better in most ways. And better die. It's true. It's true. It's amazing, man, how we look at certain intangibles while we're on this side of the globe, and we put them at such a premium. But everything that we do here, we do what? So we can. The reason why we do it is so we can try to have a better quality of life. But sometimes I feel like it's this constant rabbit that we're chasing because I don't know, man. I really don't know if the quality of life that most brothers want. I don't know. I mean, unless you want to go in the country, which is nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of people that are creating homesteads and living off the land, which you can do that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't mean. I honestly, literally, when I cut this thing on, I say I'm gonna be on here for 10 minutes. It's 31 minutes. I didn't know I could talk that much. Um, but I don't. I believe it's gonna be. I, I dare use the word irreparable because I put words like that almost in the same category as almost and never. But I think that a lot of women are going to find out that, well, by the time they decide they want to change and do what's necessary to um, gain interest or make themselves more marketable, it's going to be too late. A lot of people are leaving, and a lot of brothers are not coming back. And when they do come back, it's only to get more money so they can do what? They can leave again. And so they can ultimately work on a master plan so they don't have to come back. Um, and so I think they have done themselves a disservice. For many, it's okay. They can, as Kevin says, buy a dog, die alone, and there a lot of them are okay with that. But I don't. I believe that the human species, we're built for companionship. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, it's not looking too good. So I would just say, that beer commercial where the guy say, "Stay thirsty, my friends." I would say, "Winter is here. Stay warm, my sisters." And for the brothers who are in tropical climate rather, or climates, different places, I would say, I don't know, stay in the sun, bask in the glow of the sun. You know, continue to get wet by the water. Enjoy the food, learn the culture, learn the language, relocate if possible, and enjoy the quality of life with the respect and the treatment and ultimately the family or the long-term relationship that you always dreamed of, but found it elusive here. That's what I would tell them. So I think winter is really going to damage the crops. I don't know what y'all think, but that's what I think. I think winter is really going to damage the crops. I don't think that the dating landscape is ever going to be the same again. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go. That little video that we saw with the sisters at the mixer, they weren't bad looking. Not a lot of them. They were not bad looking. Not all of them. I mean, just as the sister kind of like waved, kind of like fanned the crowd a little bit with her phone. But I don't know, man. It's a lot to be said. A wise man once told me this. He said, when you see a beautiful woman, and he was here, he said, when you see a beautiful woman and she's always by herself and ain't never got no man, he said, that's not somebody that you run towards. That's somebody that you go in the opposite direction. He said, because there's a reason behind that. Now, he was in his 70s or 80s, and I don't know. And it seemed like every person that I've dealt with that fit those categories, I kind of saw why they were alone. But I'm just saying. Anyway, guys, listen, I'm gonna jump off here. Lawrence, Cortez, definitely Sam I am. Man, we're gonna have to get together. We're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna have to do this, man. And I went to a thing the other night. I should have invited you, man, but I didn't know if you were in town or not. But anyway, um, Yeah, guys. Yeah, let me know what y'all think, man. Since something that y'all want me to talk about, let me know if it's about Brazil. If I don't know, I'm sure my wife does. But yeah, I'm gonna get off of here, man. I want you guys to have a good night. Boa noite. Lembra-se, gentes. No deu jogador, deu jogo. Thank you, my brother. And I will talk to you guys later. Até breve, which means I'll see you soon. É verdade, which means it's true. Talk to you guys later. Enjoyed it. Love you guys, man. And again, tell me what you think about what you believe. I want to know your thoughts. Drop some in the comment section. I want to know what you guys think um, is going to be a result of the dating landscape here in America as a result of so many people discovering the red pill and going SYSBM. Talk to you guys later. Boa noite.